All right, here we go. We have started. Inside, there's a strike. One ball, one strike on the batter. Got here a little late, thanks to Cameron. Batter is Hayden Thompson, and that ball is hit out into left center field, and it is missed in left field, picked up by Cameron. Cameron throws this ball into the cutoff, and it's a leadoff single for Hayden Thompson. So now with a runner on first, let's zoom out a little bit, see if we can catch that his lead. Here's Jacoby Metallic. It's a pretty sweet name. First pitch shows bunt call, strike one, runner not able to advance. 0-1 on Jacoby Metallic. Pitch, runner goes, pitches on the outside, throw down to second is just a hair late. Stolen base. Strike two, no balls and two strikes, as he did commit on that bunt attempt. So no balls, two strikes, no outs, runner on second for the Ravens. Pitch, swing and a miss, strike three for out number one. Oh no. One ball, two strikes. I missed that. My bad. My apologies. There's a swing and a miss. So there's the out. All right, it just took a little bit longer than I anticipated, but out nonetheless. So one out and a runner on second. That brings up Mason Bro. First pitch call, strike one from Keegan Ewald. Here's the 0-1 from Keegan. Back to second. Oh, and the ball gets away. Down, everybody hustling, but Hayden Thompson not moving. He's just happy to be safe at second. We'll turn our attention back to the batter. It is no balls and one strike on Mason Bro. Pitch swung on, and this is hit down the right field line, but foul. No balls and two strikes. And that is tipped back into the glove of Lucas Resigno, and that is out number two. That'll bring up the cleanup hitter, Carter Stemple. First pitch in there, strike one. I tell you, Keegan Ewald is on point here. That pitch misses, ball one. One ball, one strike on Carter Stemple. Here's the 1-1. Just a bit outside. 2-1 on Stemple. Pitch from Ewald. Swung on, and it's a ground ball to second. Fielded at second. Soft throw over to first. And that'll do it. At the end of a half inning of play, it is the New England Ravens 0 and the Fulton Fury coming to bat. So second game, I didn't get here in time. Second game, I'm gonna put a camera out in the outfield and a camera probably behind home plate.
Awesome, man.
And then I'll mount one here to always be focused on first base so you can see the close plays. But
Yeah,
we
this looks professional, though.
didn't get here early enough for
Check out.
check out. No. All right, Saturday. We got another day.
That's what they're talking about. They're saying only 2 teams advance.
Oh, no kidding.
So there's, but there's 9 teams. So I mean, we got a shot.
Yeah.
Larry says we got to take care of business.
Yeah, just win out. I just got to win 2 games today. That's all.
Yeah, you might be in a dangerous spot right there.
Oh, I live with danger. All right. Here we go. Bottom of the first inning, get things started for the Fulton Fury, leading off number 40, center fielder Dan-Dalin. First pitch, just a bit high. And it hit him. So this is Carter Carl on the mound. So that brings up Carson Race to the plate. Dalin on first. Here's a throw over to first, and that one was on point. If Carl threw home with the accuracy he just threw over to first, Cameron might be struck out. First pitch to Race is high. Dalin is in there with ease. Stolen base for Cameron Dalin. So the throw was it was pretty much on time. It was just offline. 3-0. Dalin in at third. Ball goes into the outfield. Here comes Cameron Dalin at home, and he scores, and it is 1-0. Normally does. So now it is 3-0 on Carson Race. Here's the 3-0 to Carson Race. High, ball 4. Carson works a walk. So with 1 run in and a runner on first, here's the first baseman, Brett DeGrenier. 6 straight balls. Brett DeGrenier should be leaving this bat on his shoulder until he sees a strike. Oh, that must have been a strike, and that ball goes over, and one bouncer hits the bottom of a Mitsubishi. See how well the Mitsubishi stands up to the baseball hit test. That pitch up and in, ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike on Brett DeGrenier. Here's the 1-1. That's in there. Call strike 2. Here's the 1-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. And safe at second is Carson Race. So 1 out and a runner on second for Brett DeGrenier. I mean, Daniel Douglas. Sorry. Race is on there. Oh, boy. So Brett strikes out. Here's Daniel Douglas, the cleanup and extra hitter. Check swing. Did he go? And he did. And I would have to agree. Strike one. Here's the 0-1 to Daniel. 5, ball one. 1 ball, 1 strike on Douglas. Pitch is high, 2-1. And Daniel hits this one foul down the third base line. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Daniel. And pitch high, ball 3. So Douglas has a full count. With 1 out and a runner on second. Swing and a miss, strike 3. And Daniel Douglas may have swung at ball 4. Hard to tell. So you got to protect in that situation. That'll bring up Caleb Robert, the shortstop. 1 run in and a runner on second. 2 outs. Time is called. Carter Carl throws that one outside. 1-0 on Caleb. 1 ball, no strikes. Here's the pitch. Up and in. Caleb leaning out of the way of that one. 2-0. Carson Race still on second. And Carter Carl steps off to check on Race. It's called strike 1. Caleb thought that was inside, but that ball bent back over the plate. It's a nice breaking ball. It looks like it was a curve. That one's inside. 3-1. 3 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. Runner on second, 1 run in. Fury leads 1-0 here in the first. That pitch is high, ball 4. Runners at first and second now for Lucas Resigno. Pitch is high, ball 1. There's a 1-0 to Lucas. That one's in the dirt, 2-0. Carl checks the runner at second. That one call, strike 1. A little slow call there by the umpire. You have to really think about that one. It dropped down low, but it looks like it crossed the plate knee high. So 2 balls and 1 strike. That one's low, 3-1. Runners at first and second, 3 balls, 1 strike, 1-0 Fury lead here in the first inning at East Prospect Field in East Prospect, Pennsylvania. Pitch is outside, ball 4, and the bases are loaded. So bases loaded and 2 outs for Brandon Birch. Gonna have a conversation on the mound with the pitcher. All right, here's Brandon Birch with the bases loaded and 2 outs. First pitch high, ball 1, ball gets away. Race is going to stay there over at third. Not a lot of room back behind the plate there. At backstop, it's flat, which is interesting, but it is relatively close. Now, if the ball goes over onto the corners, that's a different story entirely. There's a pitch from Carl. That one bounces. Nice block. Does not get far away, though. Good job by the catcher, Metallic, holding on to that ball. 2-0 on Brandon Birch. That pitch is high, 3-0. 3 balls, no strikes, and no place to put Birch. Carter Carl sets and deals, and it's high, ball 4. And a run scores. It's an RBI for Brandon Birch. So that'll bring up the pitcher, Keegan Ewald. 2 runs in, bases loaded, 2 outs. First pitch to Ewald. In there for a called strike 1. That's got to feel good for Carter Carl on the mound there. That pitch is high, 1-1. One ball and 1 strike. Pitch misses, 2 balls and 1 strike. Two-one pitch, swing and a miss, 2-2. Keegan was way late on that one. Also, it was a high pitch, but he swung over it. Here's the 2-2. Swung on, ground ball to short. Fielded at short, throw over to first is in time for out number 3. Lots of walks, but the Fury only walk away with 2 runs after 1 inning of play. It is the Fulton Fury 2 and the New England Ravens 0. start, top of the second inning. And leading off is number 17, Nikki Stemple. First pitch in there, call, strike one. Keegan Deal swung on, ground ball, soft grounder to second. Fielded there, throw to first in time for out number one. So with one out, that brings up number 15, Emmett Nicholas. First pitch to Emmett comes to me. That's right. So that's an error on me that went off my pinky. Strike two. Swung on, ground ball right to Keegan. Keegan fields. Half run. Oh, almost gets away. Makes it back just in time for out number two. So now with two outs, that brings up a designated hitter, number 8, Cooper Salona. And there's a ground ball to short. Nice grab. Throw to first is high, and that gets away. Goes off the fence. And Cooper's there. Cooper reaches on an E6. And that'll bring up an extra hitter, number 31, Noah Givitz. First pitch to Noah, low, ball one. And Cooper stays put at first. 1-0 swung on. That's lifted up. Calling for it, shortstop, and makes the grab for out number 3. So at the end of 1.5 innings of play, it is the Fulton Fury 2 and the New England Ravens 0. Coming up for the Fury, Connor Hansen, Blake Gregory, and Colton Winslow. I'm sorry, not Blake Gregory. I'm not sure what his first name is. All right, here's Connor Hansen. First pitch misses, ball one. Here's the 1-0 to Hansen. Up and in 2-0. Whoa, and Hansen dives out of the way of that one. 3-0. That's in there. Strike one. Foul tip. Strike two. Tip went off the catcher awkwardly, so the umpire, as is common courtesy for those men behind the plate, walks the ball back out to Carter on the mound so that he could give um, Jacob Metallic a 2-second breather there to regroup himself. So here's the payoff pitch from Carl, and it's called strike three. So Connor Hansen goes down looking for out number one. And that'll bring up Ethan Gregory with one out and nobody on. First pitch, strike one. That took forever. Well, no, I couldn't find the keys for this thing. Cam put them in the pocket playing the Phillies, only it's in the front pocket, and there was like three of them. Gotcha. There's strike two. No balls and two strikes on Gregory, and swing and a miss, strike three. We're home. Okay. So with two outs, that brings up Colton Winslow. Back-to-back strikeouts so far for Carter Carl. And Colton rips this one down the right field line. That's going to get by the outfielder. He's racing down to it. Colton rounds first. He goes into second. Ball comes into the cutoff throw in at second base, and it's a two-out double for Colton Winslow. And he ripped that one down the line. So now with two outs and a runner on second, here's Cameron Dalin. How's that, Olivia? Is that better? That pitch is high, ball one. Throw back to second, goes into center field. Winslow not going anywhere. So one ball and no strikes on Cameron Dalin. Cameron got hit by a pitch his first time at bat, stole second, and then advanced to third on a wild pitch and came around to score on another. That's in there for a strike. 2 balls and 1 strike on Cameron. That pitch is up and behind Cameron. 3-1. And Cameron hits this one into center field. Center fielder coming over, jumps and makes the catch for out number 3. So at the end of 2 innings of play, it is still Fury 2 and the Ravens 0. Coming up to bat for the Ravens, it's their 9, 10, and 11 batters, Bailey, Carl, and Honeywell. All right, warm-ups are done. And stepping into the batter's box, number 25, Michael Bailey. First pitch to Bailey, swung on, ground ball to first, picked up by DeGrenier, and he takes it himself for out number 1. First pitch from Keegan, swing and a miss, strike 1. Yeah, well, and she texted me that, and then I raised the volume, and she hasn't told me if it's better or not.
Okay.
That ball is foul back and out of play. Oh, 1, foul back again. 0 and 2. This is Caden Carl, the second baseman. Caden lets that one go by. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And there's a ground ball picked up by the third baseman. Throw to first in time for out number 2. So with 2 outs, that brings up Brody Honeywell to the plate. First pitch, Brody in there, strike 1. Pitch low and inside, ball 1. 1 ball and 1 strike on Brody Honeywell. Swing and a miss, strike 2. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Honeywell. Keegan, 1 pitch away from a 1-2-3 inning. Thank you, Emily. Thank you for answering. My daughter certainly did not. 2 balls and 2 strikes now. 2 outs. Swung on, ground ball Picked up at second, throw to first in time for out number 3. So it's a 1-2-3 inning for the Ravens. I almost called them the Falcons. And after 2.5, it's still a 2-0 lead for the Fury. Coming up in the bottom of the third inning, it's Carson Race, Brett DeGrenier, Daniel Douglas, Caleb Robert, and Lucas Resigno all due up. Yeah, he's a tough kid. Oh, sorry about that. Little late. First pitch to Carson Race in there. Call strike 1. That pitch high. Ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. There's a breaking pitch in there. Call strike 2.
Come on, 2-3, let's go.
He fouls that one off to stay alive. Just gets a piece. Bottom absolutely fell out of that curveball. 12-6 curve. And it looks like Carter Carl may have finally gotten his grip on the ball. That one's high. Ball 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Carson Race. Race walked his first plate appearance, stole second base, and came around to score on a bases loaded walk to Brandon Birch. And that one's high and outside, 3-2. Carl deals payoff pitch, and it's a ground ball to third. Gets by the third baseman, picked up by shortstop, throw to first, not in time. And Carson Race beats that one out for an infield single. And with no outs and a runner on first, here's Brett DeGrenier. Throw over to first, not in time, and gets away from the first baseman. Runner goes, throw down to second. Offline goes into center field. That's another stolen base for Brett DeGrenier. That's in there for a strike. One ball and one strike on Brett DeGrenier. That one misses. 2-1. So Carson Race at second base with his second stolen base of the day. No outs in the bottom of the third inning. And Carl steps off. Race goes back to second. One bounces. Doesn't get far enough away for Carson to take third, but it's 3 balls and 1 strike.
Make something happen, kid.
So 3 balls and 2 strikes. Here's the payoff pitch from Carter Carl. Swing and a miss, strike 3 for out number 1. That'll bring up Daniel Douglas. So DeGrenier struck out swinging his first plate appearance. So did Daniel. First pitch high. Daniel, I do believe, swung at ball 4. Let's see if he's got Carl figured out here. Here's the 1-0. It's even higher, 2-0. There's a big swing and a miss by Daniel. 2 balls and 1 strike now. That's called strike 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. So Carter Carl has both DeGrenier's and Douglas's number. Struck both of them out swinging, both plate appearances. Now with 2 outs and a runner on second, here's Caleb Robert. First pitch high, ball 1. A pitch outside, ball 2. That ball gets away, and that's going to allow Race to go to third. 3 balls and no strikes. Here's the 3-0 pitch to Caleb Robert. And it's high, ball 4. And we got runners on the corners for Lucas Resigno. That pitch in there, strike one, and it was a balk. So not a strike. So that'll score a run, moves Caleb over to second, and scores race. The pitcher called his own balk. Talk about an outstanding individual. Incredible character and sportsmanship by Carter Carl to announce his own balk. A true gentleman. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Swung on, and that is laced into the outfield. Rounding third is Caleb Robert. Lucas Resigno has himself an RBI single. And it is now 4-0 in favor of the Fury. And that'll bring up Brandon Birch to the plate. And we're going to get a new pitcher for the Ravens. Yeah, Liv, I walked away. That's why I was far away from the microphone. So new pitcher is number 11, Mason Pelkey. And his first pitch is a ball. The second pitch is a ball. 2-0 on on Brandon Birch. Inside, ball 3. So Daniel Douglas is on first, running for Lucas, since Lucas is the catcher. And there's a strike. 3 balls and 1 strike on Brandon Birch. And that pitch misses. Ball 4. Runners at first and second now for Keegan Ewald. Got Birch on first, Douglas on second, Ewald coming to bat. First pitch fouled off by Keegan. Here's the 0-1. High, ball 1. 1 ball and 1 strike on Keegan Ewald. That's in there for strike two. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Keegan. And Keegan hits a chopper. This goes to second, backhanded, short throw to second for out number 3. So 4-6 goes that put out for out 3. But the Fury pick up 2 more runs. And after 3 innings of play, it is 4-0 in favor of Fulton. Coming up in the top of the 4th inning, it's the top of the order. Hayden Thompson, Jacoby Metallic, and Mason Bro coming up for the Ravens. Right, here's Hayden Thompson. Keegan's still on the mound. The first pitch drops and swing and a miss by Hayden Thompson. The ball is hit out into the outfield. Out in left field, making the grab for the Fury is Carson Race, and that's out number 1. So with 1 out, that brings up Jacoby Metallic, the catcher. First pitch in there for a strike on Jacoby. That's in there for strike 2. Painting the outside corner, Keegan Ewald. See, check, check, check. That ball is it. Coming over Cameron Dallen. No, calling for it out in right field is Colton Winslow, and he makes the grab for out number 2. And that'll bring up the center fielder, Mason Bro. And that first pitch is grounded to second. Bobbled at second by Brandon Birch. Throw to first, not in time. And Bro reaches on an E4. So now with a runner on first and 2 outs, that brings up Carter Stemple. First pitch in there, strike one. If this is out of focus or if that's as good focus as it's going to get. And that ball, ground ball, gets by Keegan. Fielded at short, throw over to first in time for out number 3. So after 3.5, the Fury still leads 4-0 coming up in uh, in the bottom of the 4th inning. It is Connor Hansen, Ethan Gregory, Colton Winslow, and then top of the order, Cameron Dallin, Carson Race, and Brett DeGrenier. All right, Mason Pelkey returning to the mound for the Ravens. And stepping up to the bat is Connor Hansen. First pitch to Hansen in there, called strike one. Pitch is low, ball one. 1 ball and 1 strike on Hansen. Pitch high, 2 balls and 1 strike. That's in there, called strike 2. Catching the bottom of the strike zone. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Connor Hansen. No outs here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Fury with a 4-0 lead. Pitch from Pelkey's high, ball 3. 3-2 on Hansen. And pitch is outside for ball 4. So Hansen works a walk. That'll bring up Ethan Gregory. Gregory struck out swinging his first plate appearance. I pitch outside, ball 1. That is foul back and out of play. Strike 1. One ball and 1 strike. Runners going. Throw back to first. Back in time. So 2 balls and 1 strike on Ethan. 3 balls and 1 strike on Ethan. So hitters count. Ethan should be looking for this pitch to be in his favorite spot. And it's not, so that's ball 4. Back-to-back walks to get things started here in the 4th inning for the Fury. So now runners at first and second. Here's Colton Winslow, and we're going to have a visit to the mound from the New England Ravens coach. There's a quick consultation on the mound. That consultation sponsored by Two Broke Moms. It's a short consultation with Jess or Jen can help you get your marketing and promotional items all in order for your business. They can put anything on anything. Two Broke Moms. Help us be less broke. That first pitch to Winslow is fouled back and out of play. Does not go to the Cars. 0-1 on Winslow. Runners at first and second. No outs. That pitch is low and inside. 2-0. I thought, or 1-1. Excuse me. I thought he had that one. Hard to tell from this angle. Here's the 1-1 pitch. That's high. 2-1. Here's the 2-1 ground ball to second. Over to second. Oh, pulls him off the bag. Throw home, and that brings Connor Hansen back to third. So Winslow reaches on an E4. And now with the bases loaded and no outs, here's Cameron Dalin. Dalin was hit by a pitch, stole a base, came around to score, and then lined out to center field. So he's 0 for 1 on the day with a stolen base and a run scored. Here he is with the bases loaded. Fouls tips that first pitch back into the catcher's glove. Here's the 0-1. That one low and bounces, gets away. 1-1. Nobody moves. Bases remain loaded. Here's the 1-1 to Dalin. That's in there. Call strike two. 2-1. I mean 1-2. My goodness, excuse me. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Cameron Dalin. Here's the pitch from Pelkey. Low and outside. 2-2. Here's the 2-2 pitch. One misses outside. 3-2. Cameron has worked his way back to a full count. Here's the payoff pitch to Dalin from Pelkey. And Cameron lifts this one out into left field. Left fielder looking, can't get it. It goes over his head. 1 run scores. 2 runs score. And that ball comes into the infield. And it's a 2 RBI single for Cameron Dalin. He advances to second on the throw into the infield. And we got Winslow on third, Dalin on second, Carson Race coming up to bat, and we're going to get a new pitcher.
You see Cam, he was waiting for Cole, and he's like, "Come on, Cole,
Yeah.
get going."
Cameron's like, he could have been the third.
Yeah, Cam was ready to run him down. I could tell. He's like, "Whoa, what's he doing?" And Cole was pretty fast too. Like, I don't know. I think he hesitated.
Yeah. All right, so new pitcher for the Ravens is Carter Stempel. He started life off at third base here this game. All right, here we go. Runners at second and third, two in, no outs. There's a ground ball, third pair, down to third base line. One run scores. Dalin rounds third. He's going to come in. He's going to score easily. And Race goes to second base with a 2 RBI double. And the Fury now take an 8-0 lead here in the fourth inning. Brett DeGrenier up at the plate. Carter Stempel bounces one. Ball one. Here's the 1-0. That is outside 2-0 on Brett DeGrenier, I think. Here's the 0-1. And it hit him. Just grazed off his arm. But it hit him. So now it's bases loaded for Caleb Robert with no outs. Pitch to Robert is launched into left field. Left fielder going back, makes the snow cone catch. Taking up from third and scoring is Carson Race. So it's a sac fly for Robert. He gets an RBI. Race scores. There's one out for Lucas Resigno with runners at first and second, and the Fury lead 9-0. That pitch is in there, strike one. Lucas fouls out one out, and that's going to go and hit a car. And that pitch misses. 2 balls and 1 strike. Now one tipped and fouled, strike 2. So the Fury is 1 run away from run ruling the New England Ravens. Inside, ball 3. 3-2 on Lucas Resigno. Resigno's got a single and a walk to his credit. Fouls that one back. That goes near my car. We'll do the 3-2 pitch again. Swing and a miss. Oh, that was strike 2. It was 3-1. Wait, that's Brandon Birchup. I miss Lucas getting out. All right, after 4 innings of play, the Fury lead 9-0. Coming up in the top of the 5th inning for the Ravens, it's their 5, 6, 7 batters. Nicky Stemple, Emmett Nicholas, and Cooper Salona. Shout out to my sponsors. Without them, I couldn't do what I do. Two Broke Moms, located on Jefferson Street in Pulaski. Power Play Sports, exit 47 off Interstate 81 in Watertown. Top-notch roofing, where quality meets affordability. Glory Construction, if you're going to have it built in his glory. Sparks and Recreation, follow him on YouTube. All Wheel Auto, meet them in person in New Haven on Route 104. And Streamside RV Park and Golf Course and Divots Restaurant and Bar. If you want to be greenside, you gotta be streamside. Check him out. Tell him the Dan-Dalin sent you. And that'll make you super cool. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notifications bell. And you'll be able to see the next time we go live for some youth sporting event, or I upload and deliver a new motivational talk. Those will be coming this fall. So to get things started here in the top of the 5th inning, Nicky Stemple. First pitch from Keegan in there for strike number 1. That one's fouled off, strike 2. It went off of Nicky's foot. Hopefully he's okay. He's going to walk that off. Very courteous of Lucas Resigno to walk that ball back out to Keegan, so Nicky could get some feeling back in that front foot of his. Here's the 0-2 pitch. In there, call strike 3. It'll bring up Emmett Nicholas, or Nichols, excuse me. Emmett grounded out to the pitcher in his only other plate appearance. Has pitch in there, call strike 1. Pitch inside, and Nichols twists out of the way. Although, how much would it have hurt to let that one graze by his side, get on first base? Inquiring minds want to know. Here's the 1-1 pitch from Keegan Ewald. And that is hit, ground ball to first. Goes off of DeGrenier, field it at second, throw over to first, and fielded by Keegan Ewald for the out. So that is a 3-4-1 put out for out number 2. You don't see that very often, but great job by the Fury backing each other up and backing each other up again. Now, The Ravens come down to their final out. Cooper Colonna pitch bounces, ball one. Coach, is it Colonna or Solona? Okay. Here's the 1-0. And that ball is lifted out into left field, camping underneath it, Carson Race, and that's the ball game. As the Fulton Fury has run ruled the New England Ravens with more than 8 runs in 5 innings of play. So from I forgot where I am. From East Prospect Field in East Prospect, Pennsylvania, this game is a 9-0 victory for the Fulton Fury. Keegan Ewald pitches a complete game shutout. Two errors on the day for the Fury. A bunch of stolen bases, some singles, and some doubles, but walks were the story today. The Ravens just had a hard time finding that strike zone, and especially in baseball, and particularly in youth baseball, pitching is everything. It's so difficult to maintain solid pitching staff. So the Fury come out on top, win this one 9-0. They are 2-0 on the weekend. If they win this afternoon, they ought to be guaranteed a spot in tomorrow's playoff round. So from East Prospect Field in East Prospect, Pennsylvania, I am the Dan-Dalin, a positive influence, reminding you, don't wait for it to be a good day. Make it a great day, everyone. How's it going? Good job back there.